Oh, it says I'm live. I probably freaked the guy out at McDonald's because I put one of those collagen masks on. He, like, what are you thinking? Literally. I don't want to take it off. These people say they, like, go to sleep. I've not been on TikTok Live and, like, I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm trying to do this damn TikTok, and I don't want to be an influencer. I really want to be, like, I want to have a podcast. I have, like, a lot to say. But it seemed like I was getting all these products. This is one of them. Yeah, no, I just went to McDonald's with this mask on my face. The guy's probably, like, look at it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm wearing a mask. I got a happy, he probably thought I was nuts. Everybody does. This is not the boo box. You know the little boo buckets? I need to come on here more often. I need to grow my YouTube and start having, like, you know, a regular weekly thing going. Right now, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I've been doing, I mean, I have like a job and everything, but, you know, work from home. Don't we all? Ever since 2020. Yeah, who goes to McDonald's drive-thru like this? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm wearing them. It's just going to fall off. So these are the masks that these people claim they go to bed in. They're lying. They do not go to bed in this Korean mask. It, like, literally, this is why I would put it on me and wake up with, like, globs on the floor. I didn't know how the mask was coming off. I tried it 3 times. So, hey, good to see you. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm like, so YouTube is where it's at, I think. I think I'm gonna, I don't know. I've been going psycho on this, like, affiliate shit, but, like, I don't really want to do products. I'm got mental problems and I can't say no to free product. I don't know. And then there's some people that make, like, stupid amount of money. Like, stupid. You guys need to watch my last video. I, like, roamed the neighborhood in a dinosaur costume. That's the kind of shit I really want to do. Like, weird stuff. Or, like, interviewing people on this. Like, there's so many things you can do, you know? So, like, YouTube invited me to their creator shorts program. I don't know. They're trying to compete. It's weird. As soon as they give you an option now to upload your TikTok link to YouTube. Upload your TikTok, and it's then they're like, oh, they invited me to their creator shorts program where I had, like, a brand part, like a partner, a YouTube partner, or whatever. I don't know. I listened in on some random video call where they were, like, you know, giving you pointers. Okay, and so look at this. This is YouTube, yeah. Like, I want to get monetized. I was almost monetized, and then they said I didn't have original content, which all my stuff will be original now because basically what happened, it actually worked for me. Okay, so they gave me 3 months free. I look ridiculous. Okay, here's the glass. Whatever. I swear to God, these ladies on TikTok are saying that they went to bed in this mask and they peel it off and they're like, look at my glowing face. No, they're lying. They did not fall asleep and peel off why do people lie? Because I bought the masks and I'm like, it's falling off my face every night. I tried to wrap it around my face to stay on I used a plastic, like, bag from the grocery store, and I, like, ripped open a hole so I could still breathe and tried to, like, keep this damn thing on my face. Not happening. Okay. So they have this app called Repurpose. If you post a lot on TikTok, you can literally I'm getting good. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get some views on YouTube. Finally. And I want to do, like, my girlfriend and girlfriend is a girl, you know what I mean? She's wanting to, like, you know, I don't know. She's like a life coach and does breath work, you know, trauma healing stuff. I don't know. I think you met her. But, it was awkward. First impressions don't matter. Don't worry about that. Because people are weird sometimes. I know I am. I'm like, please do not judge me on your first impression of me. Because sometimes it's just shit happens. But she's great. Like, when you get to know her on a real level. We booked tickets to Spain. I say that because it's like, I only agreed to go because it was like $1,500. Like my ticket round trip was like $700. The room, she got some big ass discount. It's like she calls it 5-star. It's 4.5 star, whatever. It's in the Canary Islands. But yeah, would you go to Spain for $1,500 for like 6 days or some shit? 5 nights. I was like, to me it was like a no-brainer because the rooms were supposed to be like, I don't know, $600 a night, but I'm splitting a room with her, so I end up not having to pay that much. And so I ended up getting just a deal to, like, almost like if you do a timeshare, you know, you get to go do the presentation. That's kind of what I'm doing. Like, it's some kind of like presentation for some water thing that she's selling, this water that I guess I'm gonna buy one because why not? I don't care. It basically clears your water out, okay? And but it hydrogenizes it. I don't know if you've heard of those. Yeah. So she's like really into these, but there's these people that are like selling them, but they're doing really, really well. And then they have these big, like, you know, I don't know how it does it, but basically if you get your pH balance to be greater than 7.5, which is what pee is, you can clear. Cancer can't replicate, I guess. I have to be careful what I say, but because they don't want you to, you know about this stuff, but there's people drinking nothing but bottled water, and now there's a lot of young people coming down with cancers. Like, I think it's some people only drink bottled water, and they're getting particles of the plastic. They're getting that. They're consuming that, you know, and it's going into their cells. They don't even realize it. But the bottled water all the time is not, yeah, it's not, because it's like, if that's all you're drinking, right? Because it's going in the, like the warehouse, you know, like when they're packaging it, and you know, it gets heated and stuff. And it breaks down the plastic and it gets in the water, and people don't realize it. So she's got this water machine like that. Like, for one, she tried reverse osmosis, but it was crazy. She showed me this thing where she put Benadine in the water. I don't know. And then she poured some of this water from this machine and it went clear. I was like, how does it clean the water? Like, I don't know. I was like, I'm always skeptical, so I want to get the science behind it. But she was showing me, like, you know how people buy the bottled water that's supposed to be like alkaline and stuff. I need to totally change as I'm eating like a Happy Meal, which is, I know it's bad, but I'm evolving. I mean, I've been eating a lot less fast food, and I've been eating at home and cooking, making progress. So, but yeah, when I eat it, it's like, oh, it's not good for me. I don't care about the fries. I honestly got it because I wanted the Halloween boot. I'm such a kid. And it claimed that it had that. Well, my Happy Meal doesn't... Why did they give me this? Like, I get mad. I don't like this toy. Like, what? Like, I'm like a kid. This triggers my little kid wound. And it's not because of it's what, I don't know the character. What is that? I don't know this movie. I wanted the Halloween bucket. I was supposed to get the Halloween bucket. So yeah, no, I literally uploaded like a random TikTok. I have a lot of TikTok lives. I could literally just upload my freaking live streams. And that's it. I was like, why does this have so many views? And I didn't, usually I'll watch them to make sure that like they're okay. But I didn't even watch that one. So, and I have some where I like have these crazy rants. I have some good like videos, but you know, like any small YouTuber, like they don't get seen, you know what I'm saying? Like I even have a video where a clip of it ended up in a documentary that BBC, but it was actually in the UK. It wasn't in the United States. My live had 12,000 views where on TikTok. That's with the products though. They got me all connected with the product, like whatever. They have me in these Discord groups and stuff, like for these, they're grooming me to be like a creator, but like it's not. I mean, I spend so much time and energy on it. It needs to be done where it's like you live stream this many hours, like you know what I mean, like schedule. Lost my camera. No, I got a call. I left. I was like freaking, okay, I just like, my kids have been home, like, oh my God, my son got suspended. It was home all these days, and then they had a fall break. I'm like, what the fuck's a fall break? It's like, oh, we're just off for the next 10 days. I'm like, what? It's just a lot. My friend I call him a friend because, I mean, I don't know, I'm not, I mean, I'm like 40, I'm gonna be 41, I'm like, I'm not gonna have like a boyfriend, you know, it's like, you marry me, or we're a friend, right? Like, he lives out of state, but he'll travel, he helps me though, at least, he'll help me out. It's hard, dude. I did this full-time single. Oh my God. I really just invited him down because my son needed a role model. Like, legit. He needed it desperately. Like, bad. It's horrible. Horrible. And that's what people don't realize. How screwed up it is not to have good male role models in the household. You know, especially with boys. I'm like, he's got a sister and a mom, and he's different. He's just different. And I don't care. I know that there's a spectrum of gender, I guess, as far as how, whatever gender norms are, where I can be in my masculine energy, let's just say. But again, that is still society's basically said, well, this is feminine, this is masculine, this is male, this is female. You know, society's said that, you know, so it can't go both ways, where people are like, oh, well, there is no gender, you can be fluid, and you're a woman if you say you're a woman. Okay, but like, how do you define it then? Right? You know, I don't know. I just have my whole theory about feminism and how they were gonna, like, basically, they convinced us that we were oppressed, and if we stayed home and raised our kids, which was a lie, you know, but it's all goes back to the dollar, because in 71, you know, they took us off the gold standard, but the people don't understand that the printing of the money, right? And so people don't think about those things. Like, they don't get it. And I started studying it, and I was, as you know, and I was like, I mean, you've studied it too. It's like, oh my God, there's no money. Like, you know? Yeah, I know. I know. We've been waiting for it, and it's like, this has been the calm before the storm, because, like, we're gonna find out what happens to our country, like, November 5th. Do you know? Like, it's all, like, just, why, like, how could you not be, like, I don't know. I'm kind of, like, at the place where I don't care if I think it's such a joke, the whole, like, the American people would not have put Kamala Harris in there. So the whole, like, a lot of us knew that Biden was very, you know, he was a little bit delayed. Senile. I don't know what's a nice term to use. He had some, I don't know. I mean, he's pushing 80 or, I mean, I don't want to say 80's old either. But my grandfather was pretty sharp at 80, okay? He passed at almost 96 years old. Incredible, you know? So he was sharp at 80 years old, but not everybody is. I knew that Biden was not, like, he was making mistakes about what state he was in. Like, this is when he was running. So, like, the people that were already paying attention to Biden's decline that CNN airs on purpose, like, it's so strategic, like, you can't even, like, not see it now once you start seeing it. Hey, but there's a lot of people that they still believe in this stuff. They believe it's weird, you know? It's like, it's such, like, programming that happens, you know? Like, really, like, it is. Like, so, like, when you step out of it, you're like, okay, yeah, this guy's not working with a full deck, really. I mean, he's not there, right? And then you only get this vice president based on her gender and her race. It's like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, but the people are so, like, they'll fall for it and be like, yeah, the first female, you know, my little girl knows that she can become president one day because this person's gonna break the ceiling. It's like glass ceiling or whatever it is. It's like, really? That's what you think? Really? Can we get somebody who's qualified? Like, I don't care what color they are. I really don't care about skin color. I really don't. I really treat people the same. Like, the guy that somehow moved, I love my new neighbors because they're, like, kind of oddballs. And I'm like, there's always different people coming in and out, different hair colors. And guy working in the garage, he's got, like, no teeth. You know, don't know who he is. But hell, when I was on the little dirt bike and the little chain broke, if he wasn't the first person to jump up and help me with the chain, you know what I'm saying? And he fix it, and that's like kindness, right? And it was just like, that's just a person helping another person, right? Like, just, to have some, and then the people that would judge him, you know what I mean? Like, and look down on him because of his appearance. And that's how I feel about it. I treat everybody I meet, like the same, right? Is with the same, I don't know how to explain that. And so I think it's preposterous. And it's sad. It's sad that there's still people that are racist, it always reminds me of Alfred Hitchcock when somebody says, "Good evening." Good evening. It breaks my heart that there's people that are like that. But it also breaks my heart that people are so brainwashed by this stuff. Oh, thank you. I was cracking myself up with my dinosaur costume. And I got quality control people. I was like, yeah. Call the quality control code enforcement on the T-Rex loose in the neighborhood. Because I got a letter. Do you accept ideas for dino? What? I got a letter, anonymous letter, telling me I needed to do my lawn. And that's how when those new people moved in, they had some like house thing, shed that was supposed to be in the backyard. And they're like, as soon as I meet them, my kids were already over there saying, "You need to meet the new neighbors. You're really going to like them." So, funny story. I don't know if I can post. I'll have to post that video. I was putting that white mask on my face, and my daughter came home with my neighbor and her daughter. And they walked in, basically, because, it was unlocked. And I was, like, putting a mask on, so I didn't get the door, but I could see them right there. So I hide behind the mirror, and I decided I was going to wear the white mask. And I grabbed, like, a little knife thing to look like Michael Myers with a knife. And I stood outside of the bathroom, because she went into the bathroom. She never saw me. She probably thought I was in my room or whatever, but she needed to use the bathroom. So I'm standing there waiting for her to get out of the bathroom. I recorded it because I thought I was going to catch her, like, screaming. But, like, I'm legit, like, standing there with this knife, like, with this scary mask, like, staring. And she just goes, "Hi." And I was just like... And then my daughter opens her daughter opens my daughter's door. And they're like, "Oh, hey." And then my daughter sees me and goes, "Hi, Mommy." Because she hadn't seen me in a couple days. She was like ecstatic. And I was wearing a Michael Myers mask with a big knife. I was like trying to be scary. And she's just like, "Oh, hi, Mommy." I was like, what the fuck? I have to upload it. That's hilarious. I was trying to do a big prank and, like, scare people. I know, like, nobody was shocked. It was like, "Oh, yeah, that's just Mom being Mom." Like, like, that's just normal for her. Oh, well, I guess that's fun. Oh, anyway, what I was saying about the, this presidential choice, which is just insane. I can't with any of it. Anyway, we all knew that Biden was on decline, and so it's kind of it's not constitutional. There's no voting. They're always concerned about their democracy. I don't see a democracy in knowing that somebody's not quite there to serve a full term and then kind of like shuffle in this person. Like, I don't really think that's right, And if people can't see past that, then, and I know they're causing the division anyway by just the whole thing. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things I do like about Trump, but yes, he's very divisive. Obviously, I think the news media made it worse and programmed people. And it worked. But then the fact that they would still, it's weird. It's like, we're going to take him to court, but we're not really going to bury him on anything. But we're going to smear him through the mud. But it just, the whole thing is unconstitutional, right? Like, it's not, there's no democracy at that point. Even though I know people will be like, it's a constitutional republic. But for the sake of people saying the word, our most important thing at stake is our democracy. Like, we don't have it. Sorry, but it's gone. It's gone with all the lies. You know? Rome like corruption. Yeah, I mean, it's gone when it comes to, when you can't vote based on getting truth and facts and stuff, your opinion is being swayed. That is right there corruption. You know what I mean? Like, they found out, like, Facebook, like, Zuckerberg, like, did so many things, and it was all, like, slanted to sway people to only see their truth. And so, like, they did sway an election. They did that, like, using media, using social media and censorship. And so if people can't see and think about it and realize, but it's just, I don't know. It's frustrating because I'm sitting here like waiting for, it's like this feels like the calm before the storm, right? Oh, last week? I don't know. I saw her speech with why she picked to side with Trump. You know, that's the other interesting thing is there's big players now coming out. You've got, like, so many people opening up. You've got you've got Jordan Peterson with RFK Jr. You know, you've got Russell Brand, Tulsi Gabbard, these big, Elon Musk. I'm actually starting to like him. I was skeptical of him. Like last when we were talking, I was really I kind of thought he was almost like I didn't trust him, you know, like, I don't know. I didn't really fully, I felt like I thought that he was almost an implant. So, but now I'm starting to see, like, people are just getting kind of, I don't know, take all the other craziness out of it. Because, you know, like how you get into those, you can get paranoid about, you know, an elite authoritarian, you know, takeover, one world government. You get really creeped out by that narrative, you know? And then you think they're part of it. The elites are part of it. They're part of this big plan to, like, you know, it can kind of freak you out. But I'm starting to think, I don't know that they're not as smart. It's not that they're not as smart, it's just they're not as, like, calculated. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I think they are calculated, but it feels like it's not, I mean, they still need people. You know, like, they still need people. They need us because they need our labor. They need us to keep working for them. So they need to keep us just dumb enough and naive enough and broke enough to just keep, you know, it's the same thing. The bourgeoisie and the proletariats, right? You know? It's not any different. I mean, history repeats itself, right? It's just like they need us. So for us, so it's not like they're trying to get rid of workers, you know, because that's what they want. In the school system is designed to create little order takers, worker bees, you know, and nobody thinks for themselves anymore. It's just, this is what you do. This is what you learn. this is what, yeah. And then they use fear to keep us in control. Well, if you don't do this, then, so that's what it's all about, always. It's about power and control and using fear. And that even goes back to like the church days, right? Where the church had all the control, which technically I think they still do, but to some degree, right? Like, it's like, I think back in those days, like when you talk about this guy, Jesus, that walked the earth, and like he was like pushing back. And look what happened to him. It's like, I see that as a political movement. And I think, God, we're no different. We're no different. The people that, I'm not comparing Trump to Jesus, but there's people that would literally be elated to watch somebody in modern day time be crucified. They would think that they deserved it and they would get manipulated, right? The heart of humanity is just like, because I even think of those days, like, you take out him being, even the Son of Man, it's like, he was just a guy that, hey, even if let's say he's just a quack that called himself the Son of God, but they saw him perform miracles. So let's say he's a magician. Like, let's say he had some spidey senses and he did some good things. And Pontius Pilate, was that the guy? I don't know. He didn't even think he deserved it. But it was about his next election. You're not voting for... Oh, yeah. I mean, I like him, but I understand why people don't, I guess. But I also think, I don't know, I think he's a lot... I just think that the media's made him so much worse than he really is. He's not a politician. I don't know. Can I see through his, like, that he's got a big ego and he's narcissistic? Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. But I feel more secure with him in control. You know what I mean? Like, I feel safer. Like, right now, I feel so uncertain about what we're going to get into in the world. Like, what's next? You know what I mean? It feels like it's, and it's because, I don't know. Even though a lot of people feel like unsafe, or they're like, well, he shouldn't have, the nuclear codes. It's like, but should Biden, like, who's running the country now? Like, how is everybody accepting everything that just happened? That is where they have us, to the point of just, oh yeah, they had like an attempt with the Secret Service. People don't realize how easy it is to spot a guy on a roof like 130 yards away. Like, you watch a football game farther away than that. The whole field is 100 yards. You can watch the quarterback throw a little ball. Like, people don't even think. Like, there's no way the Secret Service didn't see the guy. Don Bongino has a video of him in the audience. They saw the little kid running on the roof. The whole thing is just like, I can't even. And they changed the Wikipedia on her, which I have the screenshots of Wikipedia before they changed it. And she came from PepsiCo. Like, she was working she had a government job, and then she left and was making like $1.4 million or some shit, like, a year at PepsiCo. Like, BlackRock. Okay, but I also realize, like, BlackRock and Vanguard are not... It's not like they run the world. own most of the stocks, but the stocks are owned by most, like, various hedge funds and people. So, but essentially the world, I think, is ran by money and in this industrial war machine that they keep going. You know, they keep it going. And the people just keep, so the one good thing is there's a lot of people waking up. I have to focus more on the positive than the problem. And that's what I was getting at. Like, I don't even care. I am already expecting just chaos. November, like, as far as I don't expect a free and fair election at all. The numbers don't add up. And I can do a whole breakdown of the amount of people registered versus the people that voted versus the people that typically vote. And if you actually do the registered voters, doesn't add up. It's at like 94% of the registered voters voted. That doesn't happen, like, ever. And if you go to look at the PolitiFact on it and all that, it'll say that it'll use the 66% of eligible voters voted. And it's like, really? 66% of the eligible voters? Oh, wait. And then I did this whole breakdown with the numbers, and it's like, but you can't say certain things. It's insane that you've observed, because you're like, they've got you scared. Oh no. It's like crazy. I can't believe I'm living in the, I got to focus on the positive. And that's what I'm saying is, like, no matter what, even if this coconut queen gets in, I'll just call her that. It's like, I kind of don't care, because you know what? You guys deserve it. You guys deserve what's coming, because maybe it's not bad enough for you yet. So here you go, and I've learned this about God and consequences, and me having to have consequences to learn my lesson. And sometimes I have to learn the hard way, and sometimes God doesn't bail me out. He can be gracious. He can be instant prayers, answered miracles. And then sometimes I have to walk in the wilderness, like I have to walk it out. But God's doing something in me to, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a work that can't be done without some suffering. Okay? And pain brings humility. And I think there's a lot of people that need to be humbled. I think there's a lot of people that need to be humbled, truly. And I think this might be their experience for that, because they think they're so educated. They think they know best. And it's like, I don't really think things are that great. I mean, it's like, I think we're in like a recession that they're not, I know we're in a recession, but they're not talking about it. So there's not a lot of job growth. It's stagnant. There's some employees that like have stable employment and they're just coasting right now. And they're kind of surviving, and then some companies, can take record profits, as we know, right? But they've got to go. And I'm not buying into the fear of AI as much, because I think we need AI, because, in 2029, there's going to be like 20% of the population, like 76 million Americans are going to be 65 or older. And the next generation, the generation after this last one, is not living as long. They're not as healthy. So we have an aging, sick population with low birth rates. And so I almost bought a $30,000 Tesla robot to clean my house. I was like, can I make payments? Like, hell yeah. I welcome a robot. You know, I'm a little concerned about the people that are like, 70% of Americans are on government benefits. I know, it's crazy. Like, it used to be like 60%. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of this stuff is like, I'm trying not to buy into the fear. Because I realize when I don't, it's like, because everybody's like, this is the end times and it's coming and we're going to go rapture tomorrow and all this stuff, and it freaks you out. And I'm like, if I'm fearful, I don't know that it's from God. You know what I mean? Because he didn't give me a spirit of fear. So I don't really care. I don't really think the rapture's coming tomorrow. I don't even know if it will come. I mean, that's up for debate anyway, about like, I don't know. The theologians, the Bible scholars are not on the same page on the rapture, but like, you can get really sucked in if that's all you study and consume. And so I've been there where all I've studied and consumed was certain things. Yeah, I've had to stop looking at, just going down those rabbit holes, spirals and stuff on because I want to live in, I don't know, I want to live an abundant life, and I want to, like, some people think like manifesting's new age, but I don't know. I think it's in the Bible that we are exactly what we believe we are up here, and we can have what we say. I don't know. And I know if I think positively, I just do better, and that's my choice, is to go down this like negative trajectory or the positive one, Oh, I love knowing the knowledge. Yeah, I know. I love knowing it. But the thing about it was, I've prepared myself like Joseph did. 7 years of good times for 7 years of bad, So I was always like, the red coats are coming. I felt like I was trying to like, warn the people. I gotta go home. That it was gonna get really bad, right? Like the economy and everything. And but like, it's kind of what I've learned lately is it's not my job to like, I don't know. For one, I know that God has a plan and a purpose for me, right? But like, it's not necessarily like that I have to control everybody or worry about everybody, or, and I'm starting to realize, like, how like there's people in your life sorry, I'm just talking to you anyway, because it's like dark or whatever, but I'm just having a conversation with, there's 2 people on here, but okay, now there's 1. Yeah, it's just you. It's all good. You've been following me the whole time anyway. I mean, we've been talking back and forth, but I can't read your comments right now. What I was saying though, I had a lot of epiphany recently that the bad things that happen to people, it's like sometimes people want to stop them from it, right? Like your loved ones are always so anxious about, don't do this and don't do that, and and especially like, let's say they're dating somebody who's no good for them, right? And they're like, well, my daughter deserves somebody better, and but then they'll beat that person up. They'll beat their daughter up, not physically, but just like, that guy is such a low life and you deserve better, and just they go on and on and on and on and on. And it's just like, it gets to a point where like it isolates the relative like doesn't want to be around you, doesn't want to hear it. Christians do that too. I mean, I consider myself a Christian, but I don't shove it down people's throat. I don't talk about people's sin and how they're messing up, because that's the other thing. I think that God has enough power to, do it. If he wants that person to get convicted to stop doing X, Y, and Z, then he'll do it. I mean, I can pray for people, right? But I don't really worry about it's not my job. I don't worry about my salvation like that. I screw up. I can't stand like the Christians that are just like always harping on the sin and the sin and the sin. It just makes it worse. And so that's what happens, when you're like trying to control somebody. Like, that's what it is, literally. And the church used that as control. Like, Jesus literally was like, hey, you're not under all this, like, fire and brimstone. Like, you have a loving Father and you have a connection. And they were like, don't tell the people that. You can't tell them that. Shut up. They can't know that. We won't be able to control them if they know that. So it's like such a joke to me, right? It's like, because I have some problems, like, like issues like everybody does, like, okay, maybe I like sugar too much this week. Maybe I like binge watching this too much. Maybe I spend too much time, but I can't sit there and focus on every little thing I'm doing wrong all the time. I can't, and I guess have so much more freedom when I just let it go. And I'm like, okay, God, you handle it. I can't. And that's where the freedom's at. Truly. It's just like, when you just finally realize, like, I can't control. I can't do this in my own strength. I can't, so like, instead of beating your daughter up about her boyfriend, it's like, just pray that her eyes get open. Seriously, like, it's that, and then it happens sometimes. But that's what these people do. They just push people away by like nagging them, and it's like, that's what the church does. That's what like controlling authoritative parents do. It's just like, it just, I don't know. Point I was getting though was that sometimes you're trying to prevent somebody from going through something that you think is bad for them, right? But maybe they had to go through that bad relationship, so they learn how to avoid a relationship like that in the future. Like, maybe that's the lesson that they needed to have to like get to where God has them. But when we prevent people from ever having any consequences, which is what we have a society of right now. We have bailouts. Bailout. Everybody gets bailed out. Everybody files bankruptcy. Everybody gets, we have a whole society of people that has been conditioned that, if you don't want to have a baby, you don't have to have one. You can skirt your responsibilities. If you don't want to work, you don't have to work. If you don't want to do, and it's just been too comfortable. I think that's what I was getting at. And so I think that our country is desperately in need of like a humbling experience, and I think that will bring them maybe what they need. So I'm looking at it like, not everything bad is bad. Not everything uncomfortable, not everything painful that somebody goes through. I've seen the most beautiful things, amazing things, miracles come out of the worst things in my life. Truly. The character that you build, the strength. It's like everything's an opportunity. And it's wild like that. And I've seen that a lot more lately because I've learned that I got to stop like freaking out. Like everything that's bad, like, because I'll get frustrated like when I'm held up, right? Like, oh my God, I can't find this and I'm late now and da-da-da-da. And I start reframing it like, maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm supposed to run into somebody at a particular time and I wouldn't run into them if this didn't trip me up or I didn't get delayed here. Or so I'm starting to realize the fluidity of life, right? Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be without pain. And so, like, it doesn't have to be comfortable. I think that's the problem, is that we've conditioned even our children to never be uncomfortable. And so then they don't know how to grow up in this world. You know, I saw an article that employees are finally saying they don't want to hire people out of college. They've had it. They've just had the worst, like they're just done. They don't want the work ethic. They don't want the entitlement. It's just, so I'm trying to think of like, instead of like what's happening as like it's bad, is like, okay, maybe this is a lesson that a lot of people need. Who am I to say they don't need it, right? So I've kind of surrendered that about like trying to, figure everything out for everybody else, because that was just driving me nuts. And so I'm like, kind of like, I don't even care now, as far as, but again, I've also prepared, and I thank God for that. Just whatever spirit dwells in me that guided me to do certain things. So I'm okay. I'm not like, but I have a lot of security problems, from, the way I grew up too, which led to me living in survival and everything too, like just, so that's why I'm kind of like a workaholic now, but it's not, I don't know. I know God's bringing me to a place of peace and joy and relaxation, but we're getting there. But right, there's still things to work out. There's still things I'm working out in my psyche and in my habits. But yeah, the survival stuff is just, it is, and it has me hyper vigilant and has me like on adrenaline hijack mode and just going and wanting to, which has given me a lot as far as drive and determination and fortitude. But then I'm exhausted, like I need rest, and that's what God's been teaching me, is that I can just sometimes let go of the reins and see what he does, It was nice chatting with you. I gotta, it's like 1 o'clock. I gotta go to bed, but a virtual hug. That was so funny when they were like, tried to hug my daughter, teacher, when COVID was happening. She went to run up and give her a hug, and then they stopped, and then they hugged each other and went, air hug. And I was like, oh my God, people are just, my kids grew up in some strange times. It's got to build some character, though, because they didn't buy all that stuff anyway. They're like, oh my God, they even thought it was an overreaction, Yeah, it's good night. Nice chatting with you. Good to see you on here. But yeah, I think YouTube might be, I want to build it and then have like a podcast and stuff, but I don't know. I also need to like let go, let God, which, work it out. Cause I've been trying to do in my own strength, all this TikTok stuff. It's like, that might not be what he wants. That's when I spiral. And I'm like, I'm going to pump out all these and I'm going to go nuts. Like, I just get crazy sometimes, But then I kick myself because I'm like, missed out when it was like easy, right? When people had money to spend. I don't know. But I can't look back again because it's like, I still have to believe that I'm being lined up, right? To end up in the right place at the right time. Like, and that's the mindset I'm trying to hang on to, is that nothing's wasted. It's all a setup. It's not a setback, right? And like, the more I feel these things in my head be true and propel me to continue, because it's hard to reframe your thinking pattern, but the more you do it, the easier, that's the path of least resistance, is positive. It takes a while, and it also takes witnessing like a miracle or 2 or 3 where you literally have had nothing but, okay, I'm trusting you, God. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm believing, and it's always in my dark places where I turn to God anyway, because that's when it's like, okay, I screwed up. I don't have all the answers. That's where I get. I'm like, I don't know. A lot of people they're just so turned off with the idea of a God, but it's like, it's a spirit, like, it's a spirit, and that you can connect to. And if you've had experiences with it and you've actually like talked to it and asked it for guidance and prayed to it, and then you had an answered prayer, like, or you spoke something out and called out, and it was received, then that would give you the confirmation, like, maybe there is something to it. And that's how faith is built, right? But it's not just like, oh, I'm praying to, did somebody say the flying spaghetti monster? I heard that one. It's not even like that. I used to think too, like, it's just some guy floating up in the stars. Like, I've been using God a lot during these hard. I gotta go. It's been like an hour. I've like burned my throat. Some people turn away in the hard times, but I don't know. Fortunately, I've been able to be like, you come to the end of yourself, where you're like, okay, maybe there is something out there. Like, that's where I've gotten, where I'm like, I mean, I've been in such desperate times, like pain, like, to where it was kind of like, if there's no God, then I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can't anymore. What's the point of all this? I still think that, like, what is the point of all this? How could there not be something, some reason, some purpose to all of this? Because, like, people are just, the whole thing's weird. Us being here is weird. The way we interact is weird. Like, the depth, and the, like, I feel like a soul. I don't know how to explain it. Like a weightiness in me that, I don't know. I don't know people that don't feel that, but they don't. And I'm like, how could you just think like this is all for nothing? Like, it doesn't make sense. That's the reason why I believe, is because it doesn't make sense, like, at all. Like, there's just no rhyme or reason for any of this. And it's crazy, like, how complicated we are too. And also, like, like, you know, developed, like our brains and our nervous system, and it's insane. And it's kind of like, gosh, if you had to create that, well, why would you make it that complicated? Shit. Why would that come from an amoeba? A big bang? Like, none of this to me feels real. I don't know how to explain that. It all just seems like, I don't know. I guess I don't feel like I'm really, it's weird, but I kind of don't feel like I belong here on this planet. Like, I'm passing through. Like, I don't know. They always say you're having a human moment. You're like a spiritual being having a human experience. Like, but yeah, this spirit lives on. Spirit is energy, right? And energy never, like, this, they say, science, whatever, energy doesn't, what do they say, disappear? It just reforms or something. Like, it just changes form, you know? Oh God, $250. I should have bought more. I always say that, whatever. It's hard living in this world anymore, though. Like, it's just like, especially when you feel like you don't fit in. And like, you long for like depth and connection and real conversation. Like, I want nothing superficial. I mean, I guess, I don't know, I talk about things. I'm a girl, whatever, sort of girly, you know, when I get the products or the makeup or but that's me trying to escape how serious I am, like, all the time. It's like me escaping because that's not who I am. You know, like, it's like, ooh, I can be excited about trying on a new pretty dress. Like, that's the only escape I have. I was like, I am a loser. Like, 40, gonna be 41. I have 2 kids, and I have all this guilt because I feel like I should feel so blessed and so joyful, and I don't feel it, but I know that's my childhood still. That's not fully healed. Because you spend so many years in a state of, you know, uncertainty, chaos, and anxiety and survival. It's like, how do you evolve into like, oh, everything's okay now? And it doesn't feel like it can be okay because 2020 changed everything. And if it didn't change for you, didn't change, you know. But for me, it was like, what is this world anymore? Like, people have lost their like ability to like think about stuff logically. Like, this is, you know. And then I freak out about like how fast paced, like, you know, they program us, you know, like the self-checkout that we've been doing for years is because there's not going to be any cashiers, and they're grooming us. They're constantly grooming us. It's all the cell phone. The cell phone's going to be scanning the products, and, you know, it's a pain in the ass. I got to like haul all my shit in the car. I mean, yes, I should just do the drive up grocery thing, but I hate grocery. I used to like it, but I don't anymore. Prices don't help either, especially as you got to buy in bulk to have a good deal anymore. You know, it's like, oh, I got to buy 5 if I want to pay like a sort of pre-COVID price on stuff. I feel like a normal inflation price after 4 years. 2025 we're coming into. You know, I always see the shows like the Jetsons. I was like, where's Rosie the robot? And then I'm like, lo and behold, they're developing the robot that's gonna clean the house. I'm like, oh, There is a God. No. Why is that my arch nemesis? That's sad. It's because I have too much stuff. That's my problem. Stuff accumulating. I don't know. Why do we do that? I guess it's just in our nature. Hunters and gatherers. We're just gathering. You know? So I don't know. That's nesting. I know. I'm going to go to sleep too. It's good to see you guys. I mean, two people, like, I think you've been like one the whole time, but anyway, good night. I gotta start coming back on here.